We're going to start with the Eastern Conference.
Boy. All right,
Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jalen Brunson, Cade Cunningham, Tyrese Maxey, Jalen Brown. First starter is the Joker. Next up, Luka Doncic. And then we have our guy Shea, Steph Curry. It is Victor Wembanyama.
For the first time in LeBron James' legendary career, a run stacked with trophies, records, and straight dominance, the energy feels different now. This isn't about him bullying defenders or flexing on father time anymore. The conversation has flipped completely, and that alone is wild. Now the league is buzzing about something nobody wanted to say out loud. Are we watching the NBA slowly prepare for life without LeBron James?
And the real thing that could shift it is this new format, which is USA versus the world. And the idea is to have 8 players from the world and 16 players from the USA. However, they're not voting that way. The voting is still Eastern Conference, Western Conference. And the reason for that is, as I always say, team ownership in the East wants an all-star on their team that they can sell tickets for on the back end of the season. So there will always be East-West voting, no matter what format we have. But once you have those East-West pool in and you stick them back all together into one pool, if there aren't 8 international players or if there aren't quite 16 American players, Adam Silver is the one who appoints the final American.
That thought alone is shaking the basketball world. The vibe shifted fast, and you could feel it everywhere. TV, podcasts, group chats, all of it. When Rachel Nichols broke down LeBron's all-star situation and started questioning his future with the Lakers, the tone changed instantly. This wasn't just another sports debate for clicks. It felt heavy, almost like a warning shot that something serious might be happening behind the scenes. Fans felt it too, like a red flag waving right in front of everyone's face, signaling that the Kings' reign might be hitting its final chapter. Now here's the real question lighting up every timeline and podcast. Are we watching LeBron's decline happen in real time, or have fans already decided it's time to move on to the next era?
If Adam Silver appointed LeBron, he's played in 21, or sorry, he hasn't played in 21. He's been appointed to 21, voted into 21 All-Star games. He didn't play last year, and he started in 20 of them, or voted as a starter in 20 of them. And I don't know, one of the reasons I thought this was a big deal when you brought it up last week is, does he use that weekend to announce that he's wrapping up after the season?
That would be interesting, and you've been on that for at least a week now.
That's a crazy thought nobody wanted to face, but it's right here, front and center, whether people like it or not. So what's your take? Drop it in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe, because this conversation is only getting louder. And then came the fan votes. That's where things really went left. Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Nikola Jokic. No shock there. Those names are always locked into the all-star race.
I think the fans generally are voting in the right direction. If you look at who's the top of those lists, they get 50% of the vote, the media gets 25% of the vote, the players get 25% of the vote, but the fan vote's a good indicator, right, on where things are going. I think you've been right when you say the coaches are less likely to put him on the reserves. Just the coaches tend to really reward like insider basketball picks more than they do names. I do think, though, whether it's the coaches or eventually Adam Silver, and we'll get to that in a minute, I think, and the players too, there's an appreciation of LeBron that sometimes the media and fans are so quick to jump into analysis of him and how he's playing. I think there's a lot of players in the league who still, really think, man, what that guy is doing is incredible.
But what had everyone stunned was LeBron's spot on that list. No longer sitting comfortably at the top like he has for nearly 2 decades. LeBron was barely hanging on to a top 10 spot in the Western Conference fan voting. That moment made the entire basketball world pause. Because whoever thought we'd be asking this question out loud? Is LeBron James still an automatic all-star starter anymore? Rachel Nichols had already added fuel to the chaos a week earlier. She said flat out she didn't think LeBron would be voted in as a starter this season. Then she doubled down, questioning whether he'd even make the all-star team through the coaches' selections at all. And once that door opened, there was no closing it. That was a bold take, no doubt. But the way Rachel Nichols laid it out made people stop and really think. The fan vote counts for 50% of the total score. And if fans are truly starting to move on from the king, that's not just surprising.
I think it's pretty clear that the Lakers, no matter what happens at the end of the season, no matter how far they get, unless, I guess, they win the title, which is not the most likely outcome.
That defense.
I just don't see him in their plans past this summer. They didn't offer him an extension. They're going to have to give more money to Austin Reeves. They're going to have to beef up the defense. So I just don't think they want to sign a 41-year-old for another year or two.
That's a serious signal that the basketball landscape is shifting right in front of us. The media vote makes up another 25%, and the players finish off the last 25%. So if LeBron slips to 7th, 8th, or 9th in fan voting, his chances of starting could disappear fast. That's wild when you really think about it. This is the same guy who owned the top spot for nearly 2 decades straight, and now he's battling just to stay in the conversation. And when it comes to the coaches, they don't reward memories. They reward who's dominating right now, not who built a legendary resume years ago. But here's the part that really shocked people. When the All-Star numbers came out, Rachel Nichols didn't flinch at all. No surprise. No hesitation. She broke it down calmly and went straight to the real issue. LeBron James has missed a big chunk of the season. That's the story. Call it injuries, rest days, or load management. It doesn't matter. The truth is, he hasn't been consistently on the floor night after night. And when you're not out there putting on a show every game, it's hard to keep fans fully locked in.
All-star voting, fan vote, first coming out. And there were the usual suspects at the top, Luka Doncic, Giannis, but notably, one LeBron James was down at the bottom of the top 10. I think he was 8th in Western
Seventh or
Conference.
eighth, I think,
in that range, which, leads to the broader question of will LeBron make the All-Star team? I've been pretty adamant for the last week that he wasn't going to make it.
I was going to say, you've been ahead on this.
I anticipate the All-Star voting could be better for him, but I thought the player vote, or the player vote and the media vote would not be good for him.
Especially in a league that's starving for fresh faces and nonstop highlights. Fans still respect everything LeBron has done. That legacy is untouchable. But the days of people clicking his name automatically just because he's LeBron James, those days might finally be fading. Respect alone doesn't guarantee votes anymore, not in this new era. And fans are watching who's grinding the hardest right now, and they're voting accordingly. LeBron still puts up solid numbers, no debate there. But when you actually watch the games, something feels different. Offensively, he can still flip the switch when he wants. But defensively, it's obvious. He's pacing himself, choosing his moments, saving energy for later. And fans are noticing every single bit of it. Mix that with the missed games, slower rotations, and a Los Angeles Lakers defense that's been all over the place, and patience starts wearing thin fast. For the first time ever, fans aren't treating LeBron like some untouchable basketball god anymore. He's getting judged by the same standards as every other star. That's a massive shift, one nobody thought they'd ever see. Instead of being locked in at the top, he's fighting to stay relevant in the conversation. That alone tells you how much things have changed. Then Rachel Nichols took the discussion way past All-Star voting and into much deeper waters. She started questioning LeBron's actual future with the Lakers, and that's where things got uncomfortable real quick. She said flat out that no matter how this season ends, she doesn't see LeBron fitting into the Lakers' long-term plans unless they somehow pull off a championship run. That line hit like a shockwave. Think about it. The front office hasn't even offered LeBron an extension yet, and they've got huge financial decisions coming fast. They still need to figure out how to pay Austin Reeves, possibly reshuffle the roster, and somehow fix a defense that's leaking points every night.
My question with that is, if LeBron doesn't make it through traditional methods,
Sure.
would he want that appointment? Remember, he didn't play in the game last year, chalked it up to injuries, what have you. Do you think that he would want a last-minute appointment by the commissioner, or would someone like him say, I don't need it?
I want to go to Cabo, which is what I believe
be
what
on
he
a
did
banana
last
boat
year.
somewhere and do my thing.
Right.
What do you think? You've covered him a long time. Do you think he would want that appointment?
I think it really depends on where his head is at in terms of how much longer he's going to play. I think it's pretty clear that the Lakers, no matter what happens at the end of the season, no matter how far they get, unless, I guess, they win the title, which is not the most likely outcome.
How about that defense?
I just don't see him in their plans for past this summer. They didn't offer him an extension. They're going to have to give more money to Austin Reeves. They're going to have to beef up the defense. So I just don't think they want to sign a 41-year-old for another year.
When you line it all up, the picture starts making uncomfortable sense. Dropping a massive contract on a soon-to-be 41-year-old superstar, even when that superstar is LeBron James, might not match the direction the team is trying to move. It sounds crazy to even say out loud, but the purple and gold chapter of LeBron's story might actually be getting close to the end. That's the part fans don't want to accept. It's not about disrespect. It's business, vision, and planning ahead. The franchise is looking forward, trying to stay flexible, thinking about the next generation instead of being chained to the past. And when you factor in the roster, the salary cap pressure, and the nonstop demand to stay competitive, it's starting to look like LeBron might not fit their future blueprint anymore, no matter how legendary his name is. That's exactly why the All-Star voting cuts so deep. It's not just about one flashy weekend. It's a reflection of how fans see your place in the league right now. Seeing LeBron drop all the way to 9th in fan voting says it all. Fans aren't rushing to crown him anymore. If this breakdown hit, make sure you subscribe, because this story is far from over. Fans still respect the legacy, no question about that. But the excitement is clearly shifting toward the next wave of stars taking over the league. That's a huge change in energy, and it might be the clearest sign yet that a new NBA era is officially loading. Then Rachel Nichols dropped a reminder that hit fans right in the chest. Last season, LeBron James was voted into the All-Star game and then pulled out at the very last minute. That move didn't just shake up the event, it cost another player a real moment on the biggest stage. Someone who earned that spot. Someone who actually wanted to be there. And moments like that don't just vanish from memory. Coaches remember, players remember, fans remember. When it's time to vote again, that hesitation creeps back in quietly. There's always that thought sitting in the background. Will he even show up this time? But even with all the talk about decline and questions about whether his prime is behind him, Rachel Nichols made one thing very clear. Inside NBA circles, LeBron still commands massive respect. Players know how brutal it is to stay elite for this long. 2 decades of pressure, physical wear, and non-stop expectations. That level of longevity is rare, and nobody inside the league takes it lightly. A lot of today's stars grew up watching LeBron dominate. For them, he's not just another player. He's the face of their entire basketball generation. That respect still carries serious weight, and it could be enough to keep him locked in as an all-star reserve. But let's be real for a second. That untouchable image, the automatic starter label, is starting to fade. The mystique that once guaranteed him a front row seat isn't bulletproof anymore. The votes, the numbers, the fan reactions, they're all pointing in a different direction. And then comes the twist that could flip everything. The wild card in all of this is Adam Silver. With the new USA versus World All-Star format, the NBA commissioner now has the power to personally select players to keep teams balanced. That means LeBron could still end up in the game. Not because of fan votes, not because of player polls, but through a direct appointment. And if that happens, this entire conversation shifts again. Imagine this for a second. The king getting a direct call from the commissioner himself. One last royal invitation to the All-Star stage. But then Rachel Nichols asked the question that really cuts deep. Would LeBron even want that kind of invite? Would a player who built his entire legacy on dominance and earned respect accept a commissioner's pick instead of winning his spot the way he always has? Or would he rather skip the whole thing completely, avoid the awkward optics, dodge the headlines, protect his image from even a hint of pity? That decision alone could reveal everything about where LeBron's head is at right now, especially if, deep down, he already knows this might be his final season on the floor. Rachel didn't stop there. She pointed out that if this truly is LeBron's last ride, then accepting an all-star nod, even as an appointment, actually makes perfect sense. Legends have done it before. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, they all took that final bow under the lights when the moment arrived. That one last standing ovation, that one last moment where the league says thank you. That's what true icons get. But here's the uncomfortable part. If LeBron hasn't mentally reached that stage yet, if he still sees himself as a top-tier competitor, then being handed a spot instead of earning it could sting bad. That's not just a bruise to the ego, that's a reality check. And it hits harder than any defender ever could. What makes this even heavier is the emotional side of it all. LeBron has never been unwanted. Not once. From draft night forward, teams chased him. Coaches built systems around him. Franchises shaped their entire future because of him. For 2 straight decades, he was the center of the basketball universe. Everything revolved around him. So if the Los Angeles Lakers or any team finally look him in the eye and say, we're moving in a different direction, that's not just business. That's personal. Coming to terms with that wouldn't just be hard. It would be heartbreaking. And let's be clear, there are still teams that would line up instantly. The Los Angeles Clippers, the Golden State Warriors, and a storybook return to the Cleveland Cavaliers would set the league on fire overnight. From a business standpoint, LeBron James is still pure gold. The only question left is this: does the king want one last coronation, or does he walk away on his own terms? Every team LeBron touches instantly turns into a money printing machine. Ticket prices jump overnight. Arenas sell out. Jerseys fly off shelves like they're limited drops. From a business angle, it's automatic. But once you shift the focus back to the court, things get complicated fast. Trying to plug LeBron into a true championship contender without blowing up that team's long-term structure is a risky puzzle. And then there's the personal side. Uprooting his family after building a full-on empire in Los Angeles isn't a small move. That's not something you rush into. Every option on the table right now comes with a serious cost, emotionally, financially, and legacy-wise. When you stack all these pieces together, the all-star voting stops looking like a popularity contest. It starts feeling like a warning flare. Quiet, subtle, but impossible to ignore. Fans aren't angry. They're not trashing him or turning on him. They're just moving on, and that calm detachment might actually be the loudest message of all. Landing 9th in fan voting isn't hate. It's a snapshot of where the game is right now. Basketball is evolving. New stars are taking over. And for the first time in decades, the league is starting to spin forward without automatically revolving around LeBron James. But here's the twist. LeBron has always known how to control the story. He's played the media game at an elite level since high school, flipping narratives, owning the spotlight, keeping his name at the center of every conversation. So imagine this. What if LeBron announced his retirement during All-Star Weekend? One statement, one moment, and the entire tone flips instantly. Suddenly, it's not about rankings or fading votes. It becomes a global farewell. No judgment, no debates, just appreciation for everything he gave the game. But if he keeps things vague, teasing moves, dropping hints, offering no clarity, then fans and even the league may keep responding with that same cool, uncertain energy we've seen this season. And here's the part people keep missing. Rachel Nichols never said LeBron was done. She never disrespected his game, never questioned what he can still do on the floor. What she said was sharper than that. The Los Angeles Lakers don't see him as part of their future. And once a franchise reaches that mindset, everything changes fast. That's not noise, that's a signal, and the league is already reacting to it. If you want to keep breaking moments like this down, make sure you subscribe, because this era isn't ending quietly. The media tone softens, and even the league's focus starts drifting in a new direction. It feels like the NBA is slowly turning the page while LeBron's story is still being written. And no matter how the rest of this season plays out, one truth stays locked in. LeBron James is forever one of the greatest to ever touch a basketball. That's not a debate, that's history. His name is carved into the game right next to the legends who shaped the sport. But here's the reality people don't like to face. Greatness doesn't freeze time. It doesn't stop the next generation from climbing. It doesn't pause the spotlight. And it definitely doesn't guarantee the throne stays yours forever. This year's All-Star voting made that message loud and clear. The Los Angeles Lakers staying quiet about his contract made it even louder. And when Rachel Nichols finally said it out loud, she wasn't chasing drama. She was confirming what people had already been whispering for months. The LeBron era might be entering its final chapter. This might not just be his last season in Los Angeles. It could be the exact moment the league officially moves into a brand new era. Whether LeBron is emotionally ready for that shift or not almost doesn't matter anymore, because the league isn't waiting. That's what makes this moment hit so hard. This isn't about box scores. It's not about missed games. It's not even about where he landed in the All-Star rankings. This runs way deeper than stats. It's the silence. That's the part that cuts. There's no outrage flooding timelines, no massive campaigns screaming disrespect, no league-wide defense rallying behind him. The conversation didn't stop. It just moved forward. Games kept rolling, storylines shifted, and for the first time in 2 decades, LeBron James wasn't the gravitational center of every NBA headline. For a player who spent his entire career commanding the room, that silence says everything. That quiet transition is louder than any headline or stat line. Sometimes silence speaks way louder than noise ever could. And right now, that silence feels like the NBA saying the torch has already been passed. Even if LeBron James never says it out loud, you can feel it. Deep down, he knows this shift is happening. For the first time in his entire career, the buzz isn't about what he's doing anymore. It's about what comes after him. That's a new kind of pressure. Not physical, personal. Every game, every press conference, every highlight. It feels less like a victory lap and more like a countdown ticking toward the end of an era. The cameras still follow him, but the spotlight doesn't burn quite as bright. And for someone who lived in that light for 20 straight years, that quiet fade has to sting. Then Rachel Nichols pointed out something that hit fans right in the chest. Moments like this are what truly define a legend's legacy. It's not just about rings, awards, or MVPs anymore. It's about how you handle the fade. When the lights dim, do you go out swinging, silencing everyone one last time? Or do you take full control of the story, call your own shot, and walk away on your terms? Proving that no one, absolutely no one, writes the ending of LeBron James. Except LeBron James himself. Because here's the truth. The league may be moving forward, but nobody is forgetting the king. Every young star carries a piece of his influence. Every highlight still echoes his style. And every arena he steps into still feels that electric pulse of greatness. Whether this is the final chapter or another legendary reinvention. One thing is clear. LeBron James isn't fading quietly. Not a chance. He's too aware, too competitive, too proud to drift away without leaving one last unforgettable mark. But what's happening right now is something LeBron has never faced before. The feeling of becoming irrelevant to the future, not the past, not history. That's already locked in, but to what comes next? For the first time ever, teams aren't asking, how do we build around LeBron? They're asking something else entirely. And that question might be the most powerful moment of this entire story. Now, the question isn't how do we build around him? It's how do we build after him? That's a brutal shift for any superstar, especially one who's been the heartbeat of every franchise he's ever touched. For 20 straight years, LeBron James was the system, the offense, the identity. Now he's watching that system evolve without him. And that realization cuts deep. Think about how wild that is. The same player who called the plays, shaped the lineups, and defined entire eras is suddenly the question mark. The man who used to be the blueprint has become the variable. For the first time in his career, LeBron isn't the automatic answer anymore. He's the unknown factor. And that flip in the narrative, that uneasy shift, might be the toughest adjustment he's ever faced. Harder than losses, harder than injuries. Watching the game go from revolving around you to quietly moving past you. That's a different kind of pressure, one that hits way deeper than the box score. But don't get it twisted. This story isn't finished, not even close. If you're locked into this saga, make sure you like, share, and subscribe because the next chapter of LeBron's journey might be the wildest one yet. The league is changing, the future is loading, and all eyes are still on the king. Peace!